Well, if the ukulele didn't have a wonderful sound already, there's another way of dealing with it, and that is by producing what we call harmonics. For those of us that have played stringed instruments, we know at the 12th fret, if we place our finger just right down on top, and then we release it, plucking with the right hand, it has this wonderful kind of tone. In the banjo world, it's called banjo chimes. Quite a number of famous songs have been written that brings in the banjo chime element. Here, bring it on over into ukulele. Obviously, you're not going to call it a banjo chime. I guess you could call it a uke chime if you wanted to. But I've chosen a song from the bluegrass world that is a standard. You may have even sung it when you were in elementary school. Most of us are familiar with it. My Grandfather's Clock was a song that was written in 1876 by Henry Clay Work, and it's gone on to become a classic. It celebrates a grandfather clock, its pendulum, and the ticking that goes on and on, back and forth, till finally the chimes sound every hour. And it breaks down this person's life into childhood, young adulthood, getting married, and becoming an old man, and finally passing away. And it celebrates the whole idea of how much he loved that clock. I want to say from the get-go that this is not in my key. I'm not so vain as to going around saying all the time, this is not in my key, but this one is not. I tend to be a second tenor, I can sometimes be a first tenor, and I can get down into some of the upper part of a baritone. This is quite low, but in order for me to play the chimes on the ukulele, I have to kind of get down in the basement. Thank you so much for your patience with me. I'll be singing some of the verses. The actual song in its entirety has quite a number of stanzas, which would kind of be a little bit burdensome to do so many of them. So probably just a couple of stanzas here with the proverbial chorus that I think you're familiar with already, and then I will be playing some bluegrass in between, celebrating the chime. My grandfather's clock was too large for the shelf, for it stood 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny weight more. It was bought on the morn, on the day that he was born, and was his treasure and pride. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering. Tick-tock, tick-tock, stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. In watching its pendulum swing to and fro, many hours he had spent while a boy. And in childhood and manhood the clock seemed to know, to share both his grief and his joy. For it struck 24 when he entered at the door, with a blooming and beautiful pride. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. Well, it's kind of neat to hear that being played on an ukulele, a song that reaches back into the Victorian era, when they were composing so many parlor songs, and bringing it on over through the bluegrass medium, and placing this inside the Queen of Music of the Hawaiian Islands. What a wonderful mixture.